So one of the dark arts of recording is the concept of phase and phase cancellation. And you might have run into somebody saying, oh, it's out of phase or whatever. How do you tell? One good sign is that if you're working with all acoustic material, several mics around a drum kit, or classic example would be, guitar DI with 4 different mics around the amp and a couple of room mics. And you can be working on something, and rather than the guitar get bigger and bigger, it seems to thin out and get consistently thinner. And this is what's happening, is what's called being out of phase. The simple description of phase is this. Right here is a waveform that's in phase. It's moving left and right. Speakers are moving in the same direction. There's the same one right next to it, and it's out of phase. The left and right speakers are moving in the opposite directions. Classic example would be a microphone under the snare and over the snare. The waveforms of the sound are kind of moving in the opposite directions. And it doesn't have to be 180 degrees out of phase. You can slip left versus right all the time in modern recording and arrangement techniques and never notice it. So here is a track that's in phase. Here's the same track out of phase. Okay, you can hear that one is thin and less wide. Luckily, Ableton has a way of dealing with this, and it's under the audio effects utility. And if I just drag a utility onto that track right there, up it comes. And I can do a phase invert on this particular track and listen to the difference. Okay, it is totally out of phase. And in-phase material is subject to this utility plugin. It sounds out of phase. All right, so one way to check if something is totally in phase is to use the difference preset. And totally in phase, you won't hear anything, because what it's basically doing is taking right and left channels, and if they're exactly identical, they cancel each other out. Whereas on this out of phase track, I can see that this is 100% out of phase. See how it's moving in the exact opposite? Yeah, so whatever, Bill, it doesn't matter. We're just, we're making hit records. We don't have time for that. Well, here's an example that I recorded actually back several years ago for a Discovery Channel thing. And something's wrong with this track. Listen to it. It's kind of got a head-sucking feel to it if you put your headphones on. Okay, and if I start checking phase with the difference plugin preset, what I'm going to find is that the drums are out of phase because the drums disappear.